but they're also like very validating, because I think, you know, every week I'm talking to Charlemagne and we're talking with the boys here on the pods, and it's like, we keep on saying, hey, Democrats, can you please just run for something and not against somebody?
That line right there sums up half the frustration across the country.
And it is a very simple solution, but I think people at their core want to feel like their issues are addressed, you know, and their concerns are met. Not simply that guy bad.
Yeah.
And then you guys have done it masterfully. Obviously, you're a great talent and your team is phenomenal. Zara, I know you're listening. You're great. You're great. You're great. Give us a little more time. You're great. But it was like, it was really validating to see that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wow, if you talk about the issues people care about and say that you're going to do something about it, they will support you. What a crazy idea.
You know, it's also crazy. The things that I would say you inspire, change and hope. The last great Democrat, those were kind of his mantras, or however you'd say it. Change and hope, and that's what you inspire.
Was that Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, and I think that's been lost a little bit.
I mean, I appreciate you guys. I think it's just, there's been a lot of lecturing and not much listening. And, you know, we saw a swing towards Trump here in New York City in the last general election.
Whose responsibility was definitely... What are we talking about?
I do, those guys.
I can't believe they did this.
But you know, it was, there are a lot of caricatures of who Trump voters are. And in New York City, we saw the swing was actually in the heart of immigrant New York. And I went to Hillside Avenue in Queens. I went to Fordham Road in the Bronx. And I asked New Yorkers, who did you vote for and why? And I met the vast majority of them were Trump voters. And I asked them why, and it just came back to cost of living, cost of living, cost of living.
That repetition says everything. When voters repeat a phrase like that 3 times.
And if I had spent that time lecturing them as to why they were wrong, as opposed to listening to them as to how we could get right, then we would run a very different campaign.
And this is one thing I said I wanted to talk about. I feel like the establishment Democrats don't understand a pretty simple thing. We want to vote for someone who might make things better. Even if the risk is it will make things worse. A lot of people voted for Trump because he might make things better. And the other person is saying, I wouldn't change anything. Things are not good. In New York, things are not good right now. The other guy, to me, is just saying it's the same, and you're saying it could get better.
It's a privilege to maintain the status quo.
Only people who are comfortable can afford to say, let's keep it the same.
You know what I mean? Like, if it, like, we're privileged, like, it's very nice to know that we're going to be okay. Like, it's so funny because I saw it was like Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk, and they were talking about you. I don't know if you remember this.
I didn't see this.
But they were speaking, and it was almost like this shoehorn theory. Have you ever seen that, like, politically what happened?
Horseshoe. No.
Oh, sorry. Horseshoe, yeah. So it's like, and I think that they were basically saying that you were meeting the moment in terms of what people are concerned with, right? And it's obviously cost of living, and it's like, I think it's so specific. I think it's like, it's rent, and I think everything is derivative of
Exactly. Rent is the foundation. If that collapses, everything else follows.
rent.
Yeah.
And
It's the #1 issue in the city.
the number, bro, I started looking up numbers because, like, I think a 2-bedroom 6 years ago was the average 2-bedroom compared to right now, I think has gone up 90%.
I mean, it's untenable, right? Like, and I think this is the thing that 9%, almost doubled in 6 years.
That's great.
How are people supposed to keep up with this? And I think what's so, come to what you guys were saying, if the politics on offer is right now is as good as it's ever going to get, that's not good enough for the vast majority of people.
And I think it speaks to how out of touch a lot of them are.
Yeah, and I think it's just, you have, you know, I spoke to a nurse who, after she finishes her shift,
That one story hits harder than 1,000 speeches.
she drives for an hour and a half, leaving the state of New York to get to where she can afford a place.
Wow.
That's what you're putting working people through. People are living in Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Jersey City, commuting in.
Dude, white people have to live in the outer borough.
You call him a socialist? You got
Going after a story.
White, no. But continue, please. Yeah. it is absurd that in order to afford her life, and there are obviously certain like circumstances that have created this situation. What I want to talk about more is because I looked at your plan to go fix it, and I would really like this to be able to happen. A lot of people are making this like impending war about you and Trump. I think it's going to be you and Albany, bro. Can you speak a little bit more on that? Like what you need Albany to essentially allow you to do?
Yeah.
There are restrictions in government. Like there are systems in place that don't allow you to do what you want, even if you think it's in the best interest of people, and even if that's what the people want. So how are you going to convince Hochul? How are you going to convince these people to allow you to enact these policies?
So New York City continues to be a creature of the state. New York City, if you have an ambition for the city that matches the scale of the crisis, you have to have an Albany agenda. So when de Blasio wanted to deliver universal pre-K, he knew he would have to go to Albany to get that money. He actually overcame the objections of then Governor Andrew Cuomo to get that money to make this a reality. Now it is one of the best examples of government actually meeting the needs of working people. And so when we talk about raising revenue, raising taxes on the top 1% by 2%, the top corporate tax to match that of New Jersey, that's something we will do in Albany. And that's partially why the endorsements of Governor Hochul.
You almost said it. Almost said it. Posting on Instagram immediately.
You see the trauma is coming back. having to deal with that man so much. Assembly Speaker Carl Haystree, Majority Leader of the state Senate Andrea Stewart-Cousins. These are endorsements not just of me, but of the agenda. Because in Albany, it's often spoken about as 3 men in a room. Now it's 2 women and a man who are in that room. And to have the endorsements of all of them, it's huge, and it paves the way.
I also think
for this agenda.
Like your political.
New York is supposed to be an American dream city. When nurses have to drive an hour and a half just to afford rent, that's not a city. That's extraction. People aren't voting left or right. They're voting, please make my life suck less. Drop your city in the comments if this sounds familiar. I want to see where it's hitting the hardest. Subscribe to the Unfiltered Take. We're cutting through the noise and talking about what actually matters.